Thanks for tuning back in. You're watching Christian Venture Gamer. I'm your host, Daniel the Paladin. In this video, I'm going to be opening up this box right here, this Commander box, Vampiric Bloodline. So the vampire that you see on the cover, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but it looks like Stefan Mirror Progenitor. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Probably butchered it in some form. I normally do. Oh well, let's get to this box. However, before we do this, I do want to say that if you guys are interested in seeing me open up the double features that I got today, and then this is the bundle that I was going to open up for the Patreons, so I'll be looking for that video on my Patreon page. I'll move those out of the way for right now. So let's get to this Commander unboxing. Obviously, you can go online and look at the deck list, I'm assuming. It doesn't say it on here, but it piqued my interest, basically because of what it does. I really like the idea of the black and the red. It says flying at the beginning of your end step. Create a blood token for each player who lost life this turn. Alright, so whenever Stefan attacks, you may sacrifice 2 blood tokens. If you do, you may put a vampire card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. I like that ability, because then I don't even have to cast. So alright, let's pop this guy open here. Thought I cut it all, but apparently I didn't. Alright, there it is. Ooh, look at that. Nice and shiny. This one come out. So, I'm going to just rip it. There we go. I like that. That's kind of cool. It's already in the box itself. This is neat. What are these? It says you may use these punch outs as counters or as victory confetti. Ooh, I like that. Alright. And that's obviously just printed on there. That's not the actual card. And then we have a little pop out as well. That's neat. I'm not sure what the point of that is other than just fancy art there. I don't know. End up popping out these tokens. Why not, right? Alright, I'm going to do that real quick. Pop those out. Ooh, I like that. I like that. It's like a crimson red, you know what I mean? Alright. Too bad that didn't pop out. That'd be nice art. I could probably cut that out and put it on my wall somewhere. And so there's those little tokens, those shits. Move off the side. Alright. So, as we dive into this, let's go ahead and zoom in on it, huh? Let's take all this out. Got a spacer here. Don't need that. Ooh, I like this vampire bat life counter. Go ahead and have something cool on this side. I really like that. That's neat. Instructions, I'm assuming, probably how to play. Maybe just an advertisement. Guess we'll find out, huh? Tells about the commander. Alright, see if we can't fold that back up. Alright. You're not here to see that, you're here to see this. Alright. Pull tab. Alright. What's on the back? Ooh, we got a blood token there. We got a nice token bat. Let's do this. Let's look at the tokens first. Bat, blood, bat, blood, bat, blood, treasure. With an eyeball, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. Blood, blood, treasure, blood, vampire, lifelink, blood, lifelink, blood. Lifelink, I bet it's blood. So lots of blood tokens here. I like that. Alright. Ooh, what's this? This card is actually much thicker. Where these cards are, like this is a mountain. I don't know if you can see that, but the bold white line. This card is not a card. It's actually a cardboard. Alright, set that off to the side there. Alright. So let's flip this over. His actual card. Maybe he is. I don't know if this he is playable in the normal standard, but I'm gonna find out because I like what he does. Timothor, Baron of Bats. As a ward, whenever another non-token vampire you control dies, you may pay 1 and exile it. If you do, create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. It gains when this creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it and return the exiled card to the battlefield tapped. Alright, then we have Tithe Harvester. Alright, so when he enters the battlefield, you get to create a token. You can sacrifice him. Target creature gets -X until the end of turn, where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control. Ooh, that's nasty. They have Ancient Craving. You draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. We have Blood Artist. I haven't seen this card in a little while. Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Ooh. That's a good one to have. Bloodline Necromancer. Lifelink. It's a battlefield. You may return target vampire or wizard creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not bad. Falkenrath Noble. Flying. Whenever he or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life. You gain 1 life. So this is definitely a life gain deck. Okay. Feed the Swarm. Destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to the permanent's mana value. I don't see what's so good about that one, other than once you destroy something. Unless you have a lot of life. Indulgent Aristocrat, lifelink, sacrifice, put a +1/+1 counter on a vampire you control. Night's Whisperer, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Okay. Urge to feed. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. You may tap any number of untapped vampire creatures you control. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those vampires. Ooh, that's nice. And it's an instant. Man. Playing that at the end of my turn. Huh. Wonder if I can get some more of those. Vampire Nighthawk. Flying Death Touch lifelink. It's a good card to have. Rakish Rare. Rakish Hair. Or Air. Whenever a vampire you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Stanzia Masquerade. It's enchantment. Attacking creatures you control have first strike. Whenever a vampire you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Madness. Not bad. Vandal Blast. Destroy target artifact you don't control. Yeah. Rakdos Charm. Stormkirk Captain. First strike. Other vampire creatures you control get a +1/+1. So that's definitely needed in this deck. Arcane Signet. Charcoal Diamond. Charcoal Diamond enters the battlefield tapped. You tap it and add 1 swamp. Commander Sphere. Obviously, I play with a lot of those. I play Commander. Fire Diamond enters the battlefield tapped. Rakdos Signet. Ooh, you can tap it and add. Well, you pay 1, but then you add 2 different color mana. Soul Ring. That's a good one to have out. Swiftfoot Boots. Good card to have. Stable Obelisk. So you cost 3, tap for 1, or 7, tap this to sacrifice this and destroy target permanent. Not bad. Commander Tower. Command Tower. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Myriad Landscape. As a battlefield tapped. You can sacrifice it to search your library for up to 2 basic lands that share the land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. It's not bad, actually. Path of Ancestry. Rakdos Carnarium. Tainted Peak. Tap it for 1 colorless, or tap and add black or red. Activate only if you control a swamp. So that's a good card to have. Crossway Trollmakers. Attacking vampires you control have a Death Touch and Lifelink. Whenever a vampire you control dies, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. Glasscast Heart. Ooh. Whenever 1 or more vampires you control attack, create a blood token. It says you may pay 1 life, create a 1 white and black vampire creature token with lifelink. 2 black, and then tap this, sacrifice this, and 13 blood tokens. Each opponent loses 13 life, and you gain 13 life. Ooh, that's pretty good. I like that. Kimber the Plunderer. Nice. He's got lifelink, obviously. He's got partner with Loreen the Diversion. When this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Loreen into their hand from their library, then shuffle. Whenever a creature or an opponent control dies, you may gain 1 life and create a blood token. Huh. Oblivious Wrath. Each non-vampire creature token gets -X/-X until the end of turn, where X is the number of vampires you control. Predator's Hour. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain Menace. And Menace, this creature deals combat, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library face down. You may look at and play that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. May have to get more of those playing a normal deck, if it's legal. Shadow Grange Archfiend. Okay. Enters the battlefield. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Okay. Power among creatures they control. With the greatest one. Okay. And when gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures sacrificed this way. Nice. Arterial Alchemy. When this card enters the battlefield, create a blood token. Opposing Grandeur. Each player may discard their hand and draw cards equal to the greatest mana value of a commander they own on the battlefield or in the command zone. Okay. Loreen the Diversion. Alright, so this is that card partner. So basically you can pull either of them out. 2, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Goad target creature. Until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able, and attacks a player other than you if able. Markov Enforcer. Whenever Markov Enforcer or another vampire enters the battlefield under your control, Markov Enforcer fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. This is a 6/6, cost 6 to bring out. Whenever a creature deals combat damage by Markov Enforcer, this turn dies, put a blood token out. Alright. Midnight Arsonist. The vampire. When Midnight Arsonist enters the battlefield, destroy up to X target artifact without mana abilities, where X is the number of vampires you control. Scion of Opulence. When Scion of Opulence or another non-token vampire you control dies, create a treasure token. Okay. Sacrifice 2 artifacts. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Not bad, not bad. Sinister Waltz. Choose the 3 target creature cards in your graveyard. Return 2 of them at random to the battlefield and put them on. And put the other on the bottom of your library. Onowan the Rune Sage. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player sacrifices a non-vampire creature. Bloodlord of Vazgoth. Vampire Warrior. Bloodthirst 3. If opponent was dealt damage this turn, this creature enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Not bad, not bad. Flying. Whenever you cast a vampire creature spell, it gains Bloodthirst 3. Ooh, that is sick. That is so sick. Blood Tracker. Flying. I just thought of this, like using this card in a deck with unblockable creatures. That's nasty. Blood Tracker. Blood Tracker. Flying. Pay. Tap Swamp. Pay 2 life. Put a +1/+1 counter on Blood Tracker. Blood Tracker leaves the battlefield. Draw a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. Not bad, not bad. Butcher of Malachor. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Flying. When the Butcher of Malachor or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Champion of Dusk. Champion of Dusk enters the battlefield. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control. Huh. Hopefully you got a lot of life when you play that. Cordial Vampire. Whenever a cordial vampire or another creature dies, put +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. Damnable Pact. Target player draws X cards and loses X life. Dark Imposter. Exile target creature and put a +1/+1 counter on Dark Imposter. So it's got a high cost isn't too bad there, but the ability cost is kind of high there. This would be good for like towards the end game. The Dark Imposter has all activities abilities of all creature cards exiled with him. Malakir Bloodwitch. Flying protection from white. When Malakir Bloodwitch enters the battlefield, each opponent loses the life equal to the number of vampires you control. Ooh, that's nasty. Necropolis Regent. Move out of here. Necropolis Regent. Flying. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. That's sick. Flying, right? So whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put that many. Like, that's crazy. Nirkana Revenant. Alright, whenever you tap your swamp for mana, add an additional swamp. Ooh, I like that one. Alright, then it also has pay 1 swamp. Revenant gets a +1/+1 until end turn. Like, you're going to be pumping this thing up pretty good. Patron of the Vein. Flying when Patron of the Vein enters the battlefield, destroy target creature opponent controls. Whenever a creature opponent controls dies, exile it and put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. So that's okay. I mean, it's got a nice ability, but the cost is 6 to get it out. Sanctum Seeker. Looks like a conquistador. Whenever a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Ooh. Stromkirk Condemned. Discard a card. Vampires you control get a +1/+1 until end turn. Activate only once each turn. Underworld Connections. This is a good one. Chantland. Chantland has tap, pay a life, draw a card. Ange's Ravager. I don't know how you pronounce this. Ravager. Attacks each combat if able, so it's basically like a berserker. It is a berserker. Whenever Ravager attacks, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. Madness. So for a colorless and a red, if you discard this card, exile it. When you do, cast it for its madness cost, or put it into your graveyard. Okay, interesting. Avacyn's Judgment. So it's got madness. Avacyn's Judgment deals 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. If this spell's madness cost was paid, it deals X damage divided as you choose among those permanents and or players instead. Blasphemous Act. That's a nice card there. Obviously in game. You just have a way to pump it out. Bloodsworn Steward. Flying commander creatures you control get a +2/+2 and has haste. Nice. Crimson Honor Guard. Trample. At the beginning of each player's end step. It deals 4 damage to a player unless they control a commander. Falconwrath Gorger. Each vampire creature card you own that isn't on the battlefield has madness. The madness cost is equal to its mana cost. Mob Rule. Choose 1. Gain control of all creatures with power 4 or greater until end of turn. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until end of turn. Gain control of all creatures with power 3 or less until the end of turn. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until end of turn. Molten Echoes. As Molten Echoes enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a non-token creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. That token gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of your next end step. Stromkirk Occultist. Trample. Whenever a Stormcloak Cultist deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. Madness. 1 colorless, 1 red. Vampiric Dragon. Vampire Dragon, flying. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Vampiric Dragon this turn dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Vampiric Dragon. And then it says here, for 1 colorless, 1 red, Vampiric Dragon deals 1 damage to target creature. Ooh, good way to get out chump blockers. Exotic Orchard. Tap, add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. So we have a black and red dual land. Another black and red dual land, but this one you tap 1, tap this, it adds 2 colors. Tap for this, Smoldering Marsh, enters the battlefield tap unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Temple of Malice. So we got a lot of dual lands here. Temple of the False God. Tap, add 2 colorless, activate only if you control 5 or more lands. Unclaimed Territory. As Unclaimed Territory enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Tap, add a colorless, or tap and add 1 mana of any color to spend only to cast a creature spell of that chosen type. And then we got basic lands, right? Yep. So, alright, so hopefully you enjoyed me going through this deck. This was the Bloodlines, the Vampiric Bloodline Commander deck. If you're a Patron, be sure to go to the Patreon page and check out the bundle unboxing and then me opening the double feature pack. So hey, thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time.